Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Here are some words to ponder this morning. Eat your food as your medicines. Otherwise, you have to eat medicines as your food. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot. Come on, patriots. Call in with that Pledge of Allegiance. Be proud. Good morning. Oh, good morning to you after the Labor Day weekend recess. Woo, wow, good morning. And Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and also some of our great advertisers, like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Get on the route service, call them at 734-6969. Right now, without further ado, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, young man.
Hey, how's my buddy this morning?
Rotten as unrotten.
Okay. Go ahead with the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dal, thank you so much. God bless you and your lovely bride, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Oh, they're nice people. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We got a lot of things to cover this morning. And excuse me. We start things off. I'm going to start sounding like Hillary if I cough and clear my throat. We've got the weather right now by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for that blue door. Carpet and flooring, kitchen construction, home decor items, whatever you need to make your house a home, it's all there at Cheney Flooring and Home Design in Burley. Really good folks. Kyle and Whitney ready to serve you. Stop in and see them today. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your KBAR weather forecast for this shortened work week as we start the week off on a Tuesday, September 6th. Mostly sunny skies for today. Expect a high of 71 tonight, low of 45 for tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies, high of 71 with an overnight low of 46. Winds are going to be picking up just a little bit on Thursday. Still sunny, though. High of 70 with an overnight low of 42. Friday will definitely feel like fall. Sunny skies, high of 69, overnight low of 41. Then for Saturday, sunny skies, possible high of 80. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
I appreciate it, Gina. Thank you. And brought to us by our friends. Boy, they've been really super advertisers for us right here. And they've got all your flooring needs at economical rates that can't be beat. Stop in and see them today at Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Yep. Look for the blue door. Hey, don't forget, Thursday is sale day at the Burley Livestock Commission Company. The Burley Livestock Sale Yard at 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley with the number to call, 678-9411 for your consignments or sale information. Merv May, Cade, Rogge, Lance Udy, all of those great folks working for you. That's right, great livestock sale, Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Sale on Thursdays at 11 a.m. We have got such a busy week, even though it's a shortened week. And I want to remind everybody, coming up this next Saturday at the Rupert City Square, and please, I mean this when I say this, please be there. I would like to see, my goal is 1,000 people. I mean, I'd love to see that square just jam-packed for the 9th annual POW-MIA ceremony. It's going to be this coming Saturday, September 10th, and they're going to have music starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, but the program is going to start at 2 and go till 3, sponsored by the City of Rupert, VFW, and Rupert Veterans Memorial Incorporated. That's coming up this next Saturday. Don't forget to our friends at Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Kevin and Cindy, the whole bunch down there, are such nice people. And you take your crumplies and your dirties in there, and they come back looking brand spanking new. Oh, my, they're good. Stop in, and they can restore a lot of the old items and everything. And if you prepay, you get a 10% discount at Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Well, I also want to tell you a little bit about SafeLink Internet. Yeah, the number to call, 677-8000. Get on the program. Fast, oh yeah. Reliable, oh yeah. And believe me, over 10,000 customers, and you better sign up today. Great technical support. These people really, really care at SafeLink Internet. That number again, 677-8000. You give them a call. Get on the program today. Wow, let's see what else we got cooking here. Oh, I want to get this in and see if you're interested. And see if you are interested. I'm going to put up a grand prize. Yep, I feel in the giving mood today. I'm going to put up a grand prize to the person that comes up with the best anti-Hillary bumper sticker. Now, 6 words or less. 6 words or less, and those words have to be clean. I know, I got to remind you we're talking about Hillary. I know it's going to be tough, but they have to be clean, and 6 words or less. Put your thinking caps on. And like I said, we're going to have a grand prize to the winner. And then I'm going to make that bumper sticker up and have them available along with a couple of my own. So send those bumper stickers or bumper snickers to zeb@theranch@hotmail.com. If you're interested, I'd love to have a lot of participation on this. Zeb@theranch, ZEBATTHERANCH, and then the @ hotmail.com. And your anti-Hillary bumper snickers, 6 words or less, and get those to me right away. Right away. Let's get with it, okay? Also want to acknowledge our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Oh, we're going to be over there on the 15th for the whole broadcast. I want you to be aware of that. We're going to be there on September 15th for Hats Off to Farmers and a salute to our military that morning. But you can stop in right now all the time, anytime, for all your heating and electrical needs. Yes, you better get ready for the chili this fall. Yeah, your furnace, make sure everything's running right and properly. Call them. They can help. They will help. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. All right, your turn. Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I've got kind of a potpourri of items to talk about this morning. I want to talk about the military advisors in this country. Over 90 of the nation's top military advisors have endorsed Donald Trump for president. Now, regardless of what all the newspapers say, the left-leaning rags, including our own in Twin Falls, you know, they've got so many anti-dump Trump stories and everything, and oh yeah, and then you find one for Hillary. Oh, she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Yeah, okay. Well, I've listened to these military advisors. Some of them were on the air earlier this morning on the news. And one man in particular stood up and stood out. and said the United States right now needs warriors instead of politician leaders. We need warriors. And when you think about that, that's not really an aggressive, let's go shoot everybody. No, it's warriors. We need warriors to stand up for this country. We need warriors to stand up for our Constitution. We need warriors to stand up for the American public, us first. We need warriors. Amen. By the way, too, I want to remind you that we're very proud and honored to have Denny's Restaurant as a part of our program, and they are America's Diner. And they're located at 611 Overland in Burley and also 291 Pole Line in Twin Falls. Oh, my goodness. Have you tried the buttermilk pancakes? They're delicious. Made with real butter, real milk, real eggs, and a hint of vanilla. Oh, you're in breakfast heaven right there. Anytime, all the time at Denny's Restaurant. 611 Overland in Burley and also 291 Pole Line in Twin Falls. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Wheels, something clicked in my headsets twice, once during the opening, and then again just a minute. Are we coming through okay over there?
Yeah, we're coming through fine. Is it just like a 3-second click and then it's gone? Or?
No, it was just a real hard click in my ears. And could you basically turn up what's being fed to me a little bit, if you would?
Yes.
Can you do that?
Yes, I can.
Oh, you're a good man, McGee.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Hey, listen, I don't know about you folks, but I was absolutely appalled that Obama came out basically to endorse Colin Kaepernick for his disrespect of our American flag. I never had, and nor will I ever probably get, any respect for Obama. And right now, my anti-respect is even worse. You know, here's a guy that came out and said, well, he's got a right to not stand up for the flag and everything. And he never came out and said, however. He never put the however in there. Never. And I think what Obama should have said, and you tell me if I'm wrong on this, he should have said, even though, and I'm making up my own words on this, even though Colin Kaepernick has the right to his freedom of speech and not stand for the national anthem, all that this country means and all that have died for him and his rights, he should show respect. But Obama didn't do that. Basically, this left-leaning liberal Obama endorsed Colin Kaepernick's actions. And you know what? I said this a week ago, and I was really hesitant to say that I was right. But many other athletes in other sports are picking up on Kaepernick and his disgusting sitting or kneeling during our national anthem. And I find it despicable. And I applaud all the other athletes. I applaud anyone else standing with their hand over their heart while our national anthem is being played or our Pledge of Allegiance is being said. But it only takes a few rotten apples. And that's what's happening now. There have been some ladies in some of the sports. There have been other guys that have followed Kaepernick's lead. And I find it disgusting. What are your thoughts? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to get into a story about Owego, New York, and a plaque in just a moment, but give me a call. By the way, too, don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental. Oh, my goodness. 3 locations, South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. And at the Burley location, they've got a repair shop second to none. All you have to do is contact Rod or Juan for all your repair needs, whether it's repair on small engines, heavy equipment, lawnmowers, whatever. They can help you, along with Barry Equipment, always having all the equipment rentals and all the equipment sales. Boy, oh boy, they're the best at Barry Equipment and Rental. Again, in Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Absolutely. Oh, and I had a couple of calls, and they said, are you really going to start back at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley? Simple answer, yep. Today. 1 o'clock, I'm going to be there, by golly, and we're going to go through getting my leg back in shape after that surgery. Nick Greenwell, physical therapist, and all the physical therapists over there. They know all the exercises. They know all the sports, the sports exercises, and they've got the hydrotherapy pool. Oh, my goodness sakes. They are good, and they can help you get back to being you. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation in Burley. You stopped in and see them today. Where are all the calls this morning? Come on, give me a jingle on the landline. Again, I want to reiterate, if you want to participate in the anti-Hillary bumper snicker, all you have to do is email me your idea. Now, we're going to pick out the best one, and 6 words or less for Hillary Clinton, anti-Hillary, and send them to my email, zebittheranch@hotmail.com. zebittheranch@hotmail.com. Get that taken care of. Let's see. In Owego, New York, I want to give you a little bit of what happened over there and then get your thoughts on this. A controversy in the town of Owego over a new monument in Hickory's Park in Owego, New York. They are absolutely upset in Owego because the Muslims are coming out and condemning the plaque, and they're condemning the city of Owego, and they're demanding that the words be changed. Now, the monument has a reference when it says 19 Islamic terrorists were responsible for 9/11. 9/11. Oh, my. The Islamic Organization of the Southern Tier, whatever that is, and nor do I care, says that having the words Islamic terrorist on the monument is a broad brush against the many Muslims who live in the Southern Tier. And they want it taken off. They want it scrubbed. Well, here's Town Supervisor Donald Castellucci. Don's got a little salt. Don's got a little sand. Don's got a little John Wayne in him, and he says, I don't live in a politically correct world. I live in a historical fact world. And cross-terrorism, whether it's American, homegrown, Christianity, Islamic, you call it what it is. And we don't whitewash things, especially here in Owego, New York. And we think we have done the accurate citing of what happened, and Islamic terrorist will stay on the plaque. Kudos to Mr. Castellucci. And I wish more people had that kind of sand and would stand up and say, no, this is what happened. This is what we're going to say, and if you don't like it, hit the road, Jack. What are your thoughts? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your phone call that I know is coming in, I also want to remind you about our dear, dear friend over at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Lovely Dr. Christine Pickup, and the only locally owned and independent hearing health care practice in southern Idaho. The number to call for a hearing screening, 312-0957. 0957. That number again, 312-0957. They're right across from the Minidoka Hospital Emergency Room, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Please get a hold of them today. Really, really nice people. Well, we have a quick minute while we're waiting for your calls to come in. I hope what happened to everybody? You sleep in? Thought this was another holiday? Give me a call. Ramsey Heating and Electric is offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems, whether it's a gas furnace, air conditioner, or a heat pump. You and your family will enjoy the comfort. Call them today at 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric can save you money on Lennox. Okay? Remember that. All right, it's your turn. 436-2244. Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah, Mr. Kaepernick, he's going by the wayside. He's not as good as he thought he was, so he's trying anything he can to stay in the spotlight. And he is, what was it I heard over the weekend? Announcer, one of the news reporters, said that he's setting himself up to be another Al Sharpton, be a race baiter.
Yeah. And
he said there's a lot of money in race baiting.
Yeah. You know what should have happened, Doug? Let me ask you this, and this isn't my idea alone, even though I did say this about a week ago. You were on the air with me when I talked about it. But of all the millions that he has signed for on his contract with the 49ers, quite frankly, he would have been further ahead had he not sat down during the national anthem, but he came out and would have said, I am going to donate $1 million or create a foundation or something to help stop some of the racist attitude that's going on in our country, maybe use some of that money for scholarships or whatever. People would have looked up to him and respected him, but I have none, absolutely not a respect for this kid, and I hope he never plays another NFL game.
Well, I have no respect. I've lost every bit of respect I had for him. I thought when he first come out, went to San Francisco, I thought, this kid's going to go places. But he wasn't. He was good. He was a flash in the pan. He was a one-hit wonder. And now he's struggling to stay in the spotlight. And this is the only way he thinks can do it. He's thinking the victim mindset.
Yeah.
To stay in the spotlight.
I think that's a good analogy.
Mindset, like you said. Go put up $1 million for scholarships for single-parent kids that live in the ghetto, so they got a chance to get out and get some schooling and break the cycle.
Let me ask you this, Doug, real quick. Give me a short answer on it because I've got another caller waiting. Stand by. But I took a little bit of heat. People said, I'm being too tough on Kaepernick, and he's just a jock, and his comments don't mean anything. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. This just a jock attitude, that's why these guys get off the hook. And when somebody disavows respect for our American flag, and everybody that's fought and died for and given up limbs for Kaepernick to do this and he can't show respect, I'm going to keep hammering him.
Yes, I will too. I will forward you a letter. I don't know if you've seen it or read it. It was a police officer, an open letter to Kaepernick, comparing a police officer to a football player.
I would appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much.
Excellent. And it takes Kaepernick down at the knees.
All right, my friend. Well, I appreciate you and your call. Thank you very much.
You bet.
All right, thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. The best bumper sticker's already been made. Send Hillary to jail.
All right, send that in if you want it.
Or something like that.
All right.
Be more send her for about 600 years.
Well, you come up with a bumper snicker of 6 words or less and send it to me, and you might win the grand prize. Now, don't ask me what the grand prize is because my wife and I are working on that as we speak. But I'm going to put up a grand prize for the best anti-Hillary bumper snicker.
Well, I think that's probably a pretty good idea. I kind of got Trump stuck the other day at the fair. They put one on my back. I didn't realize it.
All right, Jerry. God bless you for your call.
Around with it on the back of my coat.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. You were supportive, and I appreciate your call as always, my dear friend. Send me a bumper sticker.
Well, I had one on the front, too, but I didn't know they put one on the back.
Okay. All right, Jerry. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You have a good day.
Thank you. God bless you. Oh, come on, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What I'm going to do is try to get hold of this Donald Castellucci in Owego, New York, and we're going to try to get him on my program, if not tomorrow, maybe on Thursday, and talk to him about that plaque that they put up, calling it what it is, Islamic terrorism. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, regarding that plaque, okay, let's say we're in the Western Hemisphere and we're talking about the two American continents, and we say Peruvian American, or we say Canadian American, or we say Chilean Americans. That doesn't mean that all the Peruvians and the Canadians are the bad guys because Chile did something.
You know, you bring up a really good point, and I'm not into this hyphenated garbage, like Black Americans or African Americans or Hispanic Americans. I don't do that, and I refuse to. And you're either an American or you're not. And if you're not, I'm going to call you what you are. And in this regard on 911, I will never forget what happened 15 years ago. I will never forget where I was. I will never forget the terror, and I will never forget who did it. Islamic terrorists.
Yeah, because there are Islamic people who are good people. And that was my point in saying, or you could go to Europe and you could say you're Swiss Europe or you're German Europe, but that doesn't mean the Germans are the bad guys just because the Swiss did something. Europe is a continent. America, there's two continents in America. There is many countries who have people of the Islamic faith, but they're not terrorists. And so if you want to call yourself Islamic and do terrorist things, then you are Islamic terrorist.
Amen. And I am not into this politically correct mode, nor do I want to be, nor do I even care about it. I call things as they are. And quite frankly, when some imbecile stands outside of a building or before he crashes a plane into a building and yells Allah, Allah Akbar, and he is an Islamic terrorist, and I'm not going to change the words.
Exactly.
Thank you.
He stands outside and passes out sandwiches, and he says, I'm a member of the Islamic faith, and I'm passing out good, healthy sandwiches. Fine, we love you. But if you want to blow up our building, we're not so keen about you.
Amen. Thank you very much. It's always good to hear from you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Have a good day. Thank you very much. No, Deanne, would you take this, and we'll see if we can't get that gentleman, Donald Castellucci, on our program tomorrow just for a short interview, if you would. I'd appreciate that. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got a big complaint about television commercials in just a moment. I want to see if you agree with me. One in particular is so low-classed that I'm never, ever going to buy their product again. I'll tell you in a minute. Hey, don't forget Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street in Heyburn, and I love their slogan. They have warm hearts for cold noses. Oh, my goodness, it's been voted Minnecache's best veterinary hospital for multiple years. And they've got the welcome mat out for Dr. Liz Schrepfer, brand new associate veterinarian over there. And don't forget, for the months of September, they're having a fundraiser for the Cassia County canine units. It's only $1 for a paw print to hang in their lobby. Stop over and be sure and purchase one and help the Cassia County canine units. Okay? At Ark Animal Hospital in Heyburn. Oh, look what time of the year it is. I'm telling you what, cowboys, cowgirls, anybody that loves horses, Zollinger Quarter Horse is going to have their 28th annual production sale this coming Saturday, September 10th. Don't miss it. Preview these great, great horses at 10 o'clock in the morning, sale at 11 o'clock, and it's located at 1994 South, 100 East up in Oakley. Oh, boy. This is where the Leo legacy continues with the best of horses, great personalities, conformation, color, athleticism. Let me tell you something. The Zollinger Quarter Horses are some of the very best ever in the industry. You better get up to that sale this next Saturday, September 10th, up in Oakley. Don't miss it. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Let's see. This commercial, and I don't want to even get as explicit as they do on this commercial. It's a Heineken beer commercial. It's a Heineken beer commercial. And it features avowed homosexual Neil Patrick Harris. Remember him from Doogie Howser and all that kind of garbage. Well, anyway, there is a guy that is cooking on a barbecue, and the terminology, and if you got little ones around, I'm not saying anything that's not on TV, so I'm not saying anything wrong, but it's flip your meat. And the different meanings that are cast back and forth are absolutely, I think, horrendous. And I honestly am appealing to Heineken and the beer company leaders to take that commercial off the air. Maybe some of you found it cute. Maybe some of you found it funny. But most all the people that I've talked to have found that commercial disgusting. And if that's what the liberal left wants to portray and push in our society as filth, they did a really good job. But I wouldn't buy the product now no matter what. I won't buy the product because of Neil Patrick Harris' endorsement as a spokesperson. And I certainly won't buy the product because of the low-class ad they're running on television right now. I'm not a Puritan. I'm not a do-gooder. But I think I can tell the difference between right, wrong, and tasteless. That commercial is absolutely tasteless. If you've seen it, give me a call and we'll talk about it. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, on Thursdays, we have at 9:12 our Denny's football trivia question of the week. Don't miss that because we've had some outstanding winners already answer some tough questions. I'll ask a question and then you can win a Grand Slam breakfast from Denny's restaurant at 611 Overland in Burley. Don't miss that, coming up at 9:12 on Thursdays right here at Zeb at the Ranch. Okay? Got you covered on that. All right, your turn. Give me a call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. A very conservative, very well-worded individual, Phyllis Schlafly, passed away over the weekend. And, you know, she was 92 years old, and she had the Schlafly report and letter, and she was outstanding, absolutely outstanding with everything she wrote about, everything she talked about. She was a very conservative lady. And I thought, what I read this morning on some of the Twitter pages, they were pathetic. The liberal left has no class. Now, for those of you that are liberals and are on the left, if you're offended, wear it, because I'm not going to change. Here are some of the comments, and they are absolutely despicable comments about Phyllis Schlafly dying at the age of 92, and these left nuts couldn't wait for them to get on the Twitter and say things like this. Author and journalist Mark Harris summed up Schlafly's life by saying she made the world worse off. And then Entertainment Weekly writer Anthony Bresnikan said Schlafly had squandered her entire life. Oh, but that's not even close. Here's Jeb Lund of the Rolling Stone newspaper said Schlafly was the spawn of Satan and had gone to hell to spend eternity with her master. All of that because she was conservative. Here's one from a blogger, Ugarlis, said that he hopes that Schlafly had been murdered. And then an attorney, Dan Cannon, said this. He said that he's sorry that Schlafly hadn't died earlier. Oh, those are the liberal left. Oh, they can be so proud, can't they? They can be so proud of their demented remarks. For a lady that passed away, Phyllis Schlafly, she was very, very conservative, and she passed away one day before the release of her new book, The Conservative Case for Trump. And she was 92 years old. She died on Monday afternoon. And she also founded the Eagle Forum in 1972, a pro-family social conservative organization. And the left hates her. And that one remark about he hoped that Schlafly had been murdered. How low can they go? Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I would like to hear from you. I've got to get this on this morning. Some people have questioned my absolutely non-willowing in the wind stance for vaccinations. Well, I'm telling you what, this story ought to chill some of you anti-vaccine folks. Nigeria's urgent polio vaccination drive targets 25 million children. Polio is coming back in Nigeria. Polio is coming back in other parts of the world. Polio is coming back to where it might even be enhanced here again in the United States. I do not understand why anybody would take a chance with this dreaded disease rearing its ugly, absolutely hideous head again in society, supposedly civilized society. How do I know so much about it? Because I had it. And I don't think much at all about people that would stand up and say they're anti-vaccine when they know nothing about what they're talking about. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I just didn't have anything to say about what you've said so far, but I do want to make a comment that when you say something, it is not discolored. There's no vulgar language or anything involved in it. What has happened to our world with this social media? I am not part of it. I do not text. I do not be on Facebook. I don't want any part of it because they can say ugly things about people and use ugly language and do all these things, and there's no regulations. And I admire you because you tell it the way it is, but it is in no way vulgar or discrediting anybody.
Well, I appreciate those remarks, but I'll tell you what, I think the liberal left in this country, not only this country, but the world has taken on an evil connotation. They've taken on a satanic meaning. And when you are glad that somebody died, when you are glad that somebody, you hope they had been murdered, or you're so happy to say that they're the spawn of Satan, how low can you go? I mean, I don't agree with the liberal left. I don't agree with their ideology. I don't agree with Barack Obama. I certainly don't agree with Hillary Clinton. Clinton, but I would never in my life ever say anything about wanting them to be hurt or injured or die. I mean, how low can humanity go?
Pretty low, but we're not at the bottom yet.
I agree with your statement, but it's appalling to me. It really is. Keith, I really appreciate your remarks this morning. Thank you very much.
You bet.
All right, God bless. Caller, I'm going to ask your indulgence. Can you wait just 1 minute, 60 seconds? I got to get the weather forecast. I'll be right with you, I promise. And I want to talk about Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Urgent Care of Jerome, and Urgent Care in Twin Falls. Oh, my goodness, minor emergencies, major care. No appointments necessary, and it's quicker and less expensive to serve you and your family. Go to their website, urgentcareofidaho.com. Right now, here's Gino with the weather.
Here's your KBAR weather forecast for this shortened work week as we start the week off on a Tuesday, September 6th. Mostly sunny skies for today. Expect a high of 71 tonight, low of 45 for tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies, high of 71 with an overnight low of 46. Winds are going to be picking up just a little bit on Thursday. Still sunny, though. High of 70 with an overnight low of 42. Friday will definitely feel like fall. Sunny skies, high of 69, overnight low of 41. Then for Saturday, sunny skies, possible high of 80. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at 3.
Oh, thank you much. Kyle James and the crew at 3 Urgent Care serving you. Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Urgent Care of Jerome, and Urgent Care in Twin Falls. Absolutely true. Minor emergencies, major care. Good morning, caller. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, like I said the other day, I made the mistake of buying the newspaper, that Brad from Twin, and every morning I wait to see if there's something in there that is positive about Trump. And those, I can't say it, those delightful individuals over there are so in the tank for her. They're afraid, literally afraid to put anything in there positive, including an article from Phyllis Schlafly about Trump. And there's so many things out there, and people are sitting in line starting to say that this is something that needs to occur, and it's for the, for our very future. And so it's so frustrating. But you get the feeling that Trump is so relaxed that he knows something that we don't know. And I guess, I don't know, either over the weekend, I guess Hillary had another coughing fit and in Ohio. And I don't know how bad it was, but, and between Julian Assange, who knows what might happen, but we do need a miracle.
Randy, you brought up the coughing fits, and some people just kind of put it off as ho-hum. Okay, maybe she's got a cold, maybe she's got allergy. But now this has happened, and I'll be corrected if I'm wrong, but I've been told by some of the people that follow her health and her condition, this has happened on 6 or 7 different occasions to where she absolutely went into coughing fits. And even water didn't help. She had to take time away, hold the microphone down, and she's not healthy. I don't care if anybody criticizes me for that. She's not healthy. And I think that it's lunacy, like I heard one Hillary supporter and a Democratic representative say, oh, well, when you criticize Hillary's health, you're being sexist. No, I'm going to ask for both of their health reports. I think it should be public knowledge, whether it's Hillary or whether it's Trump. Why do we want to get somebody in the White House who may, and I'm not trying to sound very trite on this, I'm just telling you the truth. Why do we want somebody that might kick the bucket the first day they're in office?
Well, we don't want her, for whatever the reasons, we don't want her. And you know as well as I do, once she's in there, there's so many people that are going to prop her up, so to speak, and cover for her. And you wonder who will really be running the country. She just comes out once in a while when they clean her up and spruce her up, and she was able to speak for a little while, then she's back wherever it is she goes. Trump, if you think about when he went to Mexico last week, that was a marathon day, and he was still, he's a healthy dude. and he's getting better and better at being presidential. And I get the feeling there is some serious fear from the left. But again,
well,
we cannot trust anybody. We just have to win this election.
Well, here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize as of this morning, and this is a bona fide fact. In many, many polls over the weekend, Trump has now taken the lead. But listen to this. What a lot of people don't realize is that with independents, now listen closely out there, audience, the independent segment of our voting public is huge. With the voting independents, Trump has a 20-point margin over Hillary. Randy, a lot of people don't understand there's been some transition in thinking over the last 3 weeks.
Well, again, November 9th or November 8th, I want to be doing dancing a jig in my living room. And so I could call in on the next morning and shout, "Hooray for America!" But you know, again, we've all got to do our best, and I think praying will help. And I don't know.
Well, I'll just say this. I would like to have your wife shoot a little video of your mountain clogging on the kitchen floor and send it to me, and I'll put it on my website so it can run during my program.
Oh, yeah, that would be an embarrassing thing. So I probably won't give in to that.
All right, well,
you know, nobody wants to see me dancing.
Well, I'll tell you what, anybody that would make that statement, you ought to go the full meal deal. You ought to wear the lederhosen and everything else.
Hey, my wife is German, so, oh, geez, okay, Jeff.
All right, Randy, thank you much. Appreciate your call. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, by the way, talking about Hillary Clinton, I don't know. I look at the little ins and outs and the bottom line on a lot of things. You know, she had a press conference on her private plane. Now think about this. Who in the press was invited to get on the plane and travel with her? How would you like to have been the guy or girl that was invited to be on the plane, and all of a sudden one of her helpers gives you a parachute? Here, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, go sit down and feel free to ask any question you want, but be sure and put this parachute on. I mean, she had a captivated audience up there, for crying out loud. Nobody's going to really, go and probe about, well, what about your health, Hillary? Well, what about these emails, Hillary? Well, what about not knowing about classified or top secret, Hillary? What about your foundation money, Hillary? What about all the scandal, Hillary? No. Oh, you're wearing a parachute. Sayonara, buckwheat. I mean, that's the impression I got with her on her private plane with that so-called press conference. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am. Don't forget, at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, they're having a fall tire sale. Oh, my, listen to this. You can get the Ultra Z900. This is a ripping good tire, let me tell you, for your passenger cars. All-season tread. Now, listen. 65 to 80,000 mile warranty. Ooh, all season tread. Ultra Z900 is on sale right now at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And don't forget, they've got the best tire value promise in the industry. I'm serious. Along with the best brake service and front end alignments and shocks and struts and, of course, batteries. They got Bet Boy going into the fall. You better make sure your battery's going to turn over that engine and not leave you stranded someplace. Get in and have it checked today. And all these people are so nice. I mean, they really serve you. Lane and Rupert and Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin Falls, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland and Burley. The best. Our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. Wow. Once again, I want to remind you, if you've got some special thoughts about an anti-Hillary bumper sticker, 6 words or less. I'm going to come up with a grand prize and get them to me. Get them to me real quick. We're going to kind of have a cutoff on this, maybe the end of September. So you got plenty of time, but hurry up and don't put it off. Send them to me at zebattheranch@hotmail.com. zebattheranch@hotmail.com. We will pick out the best one. We will print it up and have it ready for distribution. Okay. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. A little rundown on what's coming up next hour. We have Rachel Alexander, and she's going to be talking about some of the scams that the Democrats have started to dupe Republicans. We're going to talk about that with her. And then at 9:30, one of my very favorite people is going to be on the air, Curtis Ellis, and he's going to be talking about how Donald Trump is trying to court the black vote, and also about white people that are out of work too, and nobody seems to care. We're going to have all that coming up this next half hour, so don't forget Zeb at the Ranch. Words to live by today. When a crime is not punished quickly, people feel it is safe to do wrong. That's from Ecclesiastes chapter 8. Remember that. We'll be back in 6 minutes. Had a little rain over the weekend, and you know what? It felt kind of good. We needed it. Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. Wonderful people serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services. And you know, we talk about their trash collection on the route service, we talk about the dumpsters, we talk about the porta potties, but this weekend I saw somebody loading stuff into one of those Go Minis storage units. You check it out today. Give them a call, find out more information about those Go Minis at 734-6969. Western Waste Services, locally owned and operated, always at your disposal. Wonderful, wonderful people. Oh, my goodness sakes, let's not also forget our dear friends with Lennox. That's right, Ramsey Heating and Electric can offer rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's a gas furnace, an air conditioner, or a heat pump, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. All you have to do is call 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric can save you money on Lennox. Oh, we're going to have our lovely guest on the air with us in just a moment, Rachel Alexander, and she's been here many, many times in the past. We'll talk to her in just a moment. Don't forget, too, Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, with our dear friend Joel Heward, manager, along with his family and his staff. I mean, they really serve you. Now, nobody likes to talk about death and dying, but it's a part of life. And these folks can really help you, always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. If you have questions, please call them. They can help with all the arrangements at 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. You be sure and call them today. Right now, let's go to the phone line. Always enjoy having this lady on the program with us, and she's going to talk about, oh my goodness, is it possible Republicans are being duped by Democrats? What's going on here? The Stream's Rachel Alexander.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Basically, what's going on is these fake news sites have been popping up like crazy over the past year, mainly, and conservatives are sharing these articles like crazy because they sound like, really serious offenses by Hillary, or, Donald Trump was not telling the truth about some heroic incident he claimed he had done. And so people are sending them to their friends, and their friends are posting them, and it turns out these are all fake stories. And I was going to write this article about them because I think a lot of it's making us look bad. And I talked to my friend, Representative David Schweikert, about it, and he told me it's actually an active effort by the left to set up these fake news sites, get a bunch of conservatives to share them, look like idiots, and then when you finally get a powerful, politician, leader, could be someone like yourself, a prominent talk show host, to share the article, the left pounces on them and makes them look like they're stupid, sloppy, careless, and, pretty much hurts their reputation.
Rachel, I'm really glad to talk to you about this issue because I'm going to be very upfront. I check, double check, and sometimes triple check any and all stories before I put them on the air. Now, I have had many, many people send me stories that they think are 100% legit. And my wife and I take the time before I go on the air every morning. We snopes almost every single story. I want to know what's truth. I want to know what's fiction. And I don't understand why the Republicans en masse can be that stupid as to not check things out.
I've also wondered that myself. I think part of it is because they're not in the business like we are. I've worked for the Stream now for a year and a half, and we have a top-notch editorial team. They scrutinize everything. They came up with a list of these sites to avoid because we didn't want to, accidentally get one of these articles out there. We were actually fooled once. Two of our guys started to post one of these fake articles, and one of the top editors caught it and actually pulled it off the site. This was, a year and a half ago, right as we were brand new. But the problem is you have these people who aren't in the business, they've never been burned, so they don't quite think about it, and they don't realize how fast these sites are popping up. I go and I look at, when the sites originated, and a lot of them are just within the last year. So it's coming at us at a barrage. People don't realize it, and a lot of these smaller sites, I don't like to name names, but, like conservativetribune.com, it doesn't have the big staff we do with the Stream, and so it's probably a couple people running the site in their free time. So, they're not going to think to go check every single, story that they link to. And, again, I'm like you. I now double check, and triple check because there's nothing more frustrating than when a trusted friend of mine sends me an article. And then, one just sent me one a week ago, and she said, oh, here's another, person who suspiciously died, related to the Clintons, because I just wrote an article about that. And so I immediately put it out on Facebook, and I was about to put it on Twitter, and then I was like, duh, Rachel, you got to check this. So I go and Google it, and sure enough, it's one of those fake news sites. So I was able to delete it off of Facebook within 30 seconds. But, you realize for somebody like me, I write for the Stream and Town Hall, I could suffer some serious damage to my reputation. So I just want to help others out and let them know about this threat that it's out there.
And what you're saying this morning, I want to reiterate the caution, the absolute caution that's necessary for anybody. I don't care if they're a talk show host. I don't care if they're a politician. I don't care who they are. A writer for a newspaper. It doesn't make any difference because there are so many stories going around off the internet. And somebody will say, oh, did you see this? Why, Obama came down to Earth in a spaceship. And they'll buy into this and they'll say, you got to put this on your program or look at this. Take a little caution. Take a little time and check it yourself before you become a party to this hypocrisy and these lies that are being spread.
Exactly. And again, the rate is alarming to me. My friends have it in their Facebook feeds, and I'll see it, and I'll just want to hit share. I literally come across probably 5 articles like this a week, either in my friends' Facebook feeds or, emailed to me. And, you just have to get it into a habit of checking out all these stories first. And it's unfair and it's frustrating. And Snopes isn't even the best because they lean to the left. One thing that really irritated me about Snopes recently was when they did cover these latest 3 deaths that could be related to the Clinton administration, they said all the rumors about them being connected to the Clintons are false. Well, where I have a problem with that is the police have not even finished conducting their investigation.
That's true.
And the autopsy reports of those 3 have not been released yet.
That's true.
How does Snopes know for sure that it's false yet when the police haven't even done their investigation? So you have to take Snopes with a grain
grain of salt, and I tell everybody, if some conservative wants to start a conservative version of Snopes, you could make a lot of money because there's a desperate need for it.
Okay, right there, stop, because, I use that verbiage and that name, Snopes, but you're 100% right. Does lean to the left, tilt to the left. And tell us the sources that you know and that you trust, because, boy, today you just have to, like Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify.
Yeah, basically, here's a good rule of thumb. If a site you've never heard of called, nevernews.com or something is breaking a really big, huge story, that's a good sign you need to double-check it. If a site that's been around for, years, like the Washington Times, Fox News, the Stream is another site, you should double-check everything so much. If you know it's a trusted site, then you're probably fine. You don't need to double-check it. It's just when you get those obscure sites that you haven't really heard of, and the problem is they keep pumping the articles out. So some of these sites have gone from obscurity into you kind of vaguely recognize their names, so you think, oh, it's probably safe. Well, no. You've got to remember it's the sites that have the big staff, the solid history. They're the ones you can trust. These new ones that are two people are running out of their house for free. It doesn't matter how many articles they churn out if they don't have the established reputation. And you can look some of them up in Snopes. Like I just got threatened with a lawsuit by Mad World News over listing them as one of these sites. But if you look up Mad World News in Snopes, there are 2 articles they have published that were false.
What would you suggest to the general public when they're scanning or browsing through their computer? I mean, right away, if they see something that is, very blatant and very, like it's going to make the headline of their local paper, what should they do? I mean, do most people know that there's a lot of lying, and that's the terminology I'm going to make, for the Internet? A lot of people just don't understand that all the glitters is not gold on that Internet.
Yeah, people they've got to change their mindset. They've got to change their outlook. Unfortunately, again, a lot of our friends are still linking to a lot of these sites. And what's frustrating to me is, excuse me, a lot of these sites do have a lot of really good intel. Here in Maricopa County, our Maricopa County GOP has an excellent compilation of news and news blurb every morning that Frosty faithfully 7 days a week puts it together, and she'll link to some of these more obscure sites. Now, some of these are untrustworthy sites, but she's finding good information that I can then go follow up on. So you have to have some kind of a balance. You just have to have, there's a list of sites on my right side, and there's a list of sites on my left side. The ones on my left side, I don't have to go double check. The ones on my right side, some of these smaller conservative sites and sites you've never heard of that have this glaring in your face news, you always have to check everything from them.
Wouldn't you agree with me, Rachel, that today the truth is a lot more strange than fiction? I mean, we've got so much happening with this election and Hillary, her health, her cough, the email scandal, Trump with some of his remarks that are very obnoxious. Really, when you stop and think about it, the truth is a lot more interesting than any fiction they can dream up on the Internet, is it not?
Yeah, that's why I never understand the people who got so obsessed with that 24-hour show. Why would you even need to watch that when you can watch the real stuff, real characters, real things happening to real people? I have to admit, I've never really even watched the show because I just don't feel the need. So, why do you need to make this stuff up? And again, they're making it up for 2 reasons. One, clickbait, because they can make a lot of money off of all the clicks they get. And 2, the Democrats, who are behind the site, purposely to destroy Republicans.
You know, you mentioned in some of your earlier remarks that it has worked on numerous occasions, and I go back to the original content of the question I asked when we started the program. How can they be so stupid as to make sure before they stick their toe in the water that the water's deep enough to jump in the pool? I mean, I can't imagine anybody that is maybe a Republican senator or congressman or someone that works for somebody not verifying these stories.
Well, some of them are really, really tricky. Let me give you an example. There's one going around recently about how Obama is creating an ammo shortage. Well, of course he's been doing things along those lines, and for years. So to write a story like that, it seems completely natural and something Obama would do. So you don't even think to question it. When my friend sent me, this latest suspicious death that could be related to the Clintons, I mean, it was written so cleverly. They even had a classic photo of Hillary, and I wanted to believe it. So they're getting craftier about what they're doing, and, you're on top of things because you're covering the news every day. But, all these other people who, they only, check in here and there, they're not seeing what we're seeing.
And you said earlier, too, that you think we're at the tip of the iceberg and it's only going to get worse. Elaborate on that a little bit, please.
Well, and do you mean specifically or just generally in politics?
Well, I think that what's happening is that the liberal left, they can come out and say some of the most vile, some of the most crass, some of the most illegal or illicit statements, and they seem to get away with it. I'll give you an example. It just happened over Phyllis Schlafly's death, and some of these people say, oh, she's part of Satan, and now she's gone to hell to be with her master. They can say filthy things and very terrible, obnoxious things, and the right could never get away with that today.
That's right. The level of discourse has just deteriorated, and it continues to get worse. And, these lefty sites are going to, left-wing run, fake news sites, they're just going to amp them up. I mean, I even put instructions in my column for what people can do. We can sue these sites because what they're doing is libel, and a lot of the time. And we can, I hope somebody creates a plug-in for block these sites so people don't go to them, because otherwise, right, it's going to increase. And, you say that the left gets away with all these things, the right doesn't. I have to point this out. My latest column that came out today on Town Hall, which the three may run. Sometimes they run my Town Hall column, sometimes they don't. I point out how I'm writing about Bob McDonnell and how the Trump Department of Justice is going to bring the charges against him again, even though the Supreme Court exonerated him. Well, the left likes to go after Republicans wrongly like that because they know the Republicans aren't as corrupt. But if they can make the Republicans look as corrupt as Democrats, then they can say, oh, look, everybody does it. Well, the reality is no, Republicans aren't as corrupt in office because we are held to such a higher standard. We're, most of us are Christians as well, so we're held to this, higher ethical, moral standard. We've been raised with Christian values, most of us, so it's ingrained in our blood. So, but that's just, again, the double standard. Everyone thinks now because of the left, oh, they're both equally corrupt. Nope, sorry, Republicans are always held to a higher standard, and most of us live by it.
I've only got a couple of minutes left, and I'd like you to elaborate on that. I know it's not part of our conversation here this morning, but I really would appreciate your reasoning on this. I honestly believe that there is a concentrated effort, and I've seen it every day in my life on the internet with stories and quotations, or whether it's somebody calling into my program, whatever, after the show's over. The denigration of Christianity and Christian values. Talk about that just a little bit, if you would.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting worse and worse and worse, and we covered this extensively on the stream, so if any of your listeners are interested in learning more about this, we cover just about every day. I believe, what it comes down to is people who are not Christians, a lot of them have guilty consciences, and they don't want, and some of them actually come out and admit it. They don't want to be reminded that what they're doing is immoral or unethical. And so if they can just stamp out Christianity everywhere, out of the public sphere, out of businesses even, keep it they even want to like get into the churches and stop the churches from doing things, refusing to do gay marriages. Basically, they want you to keep your religion in your home. That's where this is all going. And Christians are going to have a hard time operating. And it's not just over gay marriage. I mean, there are other, morals that Christians uphold that are being attacked as well. And it's just increasing. And I never thought the U.S. would be going in the direction of, China or the former Soviet Union, but we're well on our way there.
I agree. I absolutely enjoy having you on the air. Rachel Alexander, writing for The Stream. Thank you so much. Can you tell everybody the website so they can follow some of your writing, please?
Yeah, go to stream.org. That's my job, and I also write for other sites. Like I used to call for Town Hall, which is up today on that Bob McDonnell, and my personal website is intellectualconservative.com.
All right, Rachel, come back soon. Thank you so much for being on the program this morning.
Appreciate it. I always love it, too.
Thank you very, very much. Lady that shoots straight and from the hip, and I appreciate it, Rachel Alexander. Thank you. And I want to urge you, I bet you that we get, oh my goodness, maybe 15 stories on average per day that are absolutely bogus, absolutely phony. You have to read and study. You've really got to be your own newsman. Don't buy into all the garbage, and that's what it is. All the garbage that's on that internet. And don't, oh my goodness, did you see this story? Don't do that until you verify it. Ronald Reagan was so correct. Trust, but verify. There you go. Oh, my goodness, we got to pay some bills here real quick, and I want to remind everybody this Saturday, it's the best. What do I mean? I'm talking about Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch and their big, big annual production sale, 28th annual production sale this Saturday, September 10th, and the preview starts at 10 o'clock, sale at 11, and they're located right up there at the ranch, Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch, 1994 South, 100 east of Oakley, and I'm telling you, this is where the Leo legacy continues with the best of horses. I'm talking personality. I'm talking conformation and color and athleticism. These horses have and will do the job for you. Absolutely. Stop up there and be sure support the Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch 28th annual production sale this coming Saturday, September 10th, up in Oakley. Really a great sale. Also want to remind you we start the program off every morning with the weather, and the weather at 8:06 is presented by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. The best of all your carpet and flooring, kitchen construction, home decor, whatever you need to make your house a home at Cheney Flooring and Home Design in Burley. Really, really nice people. Let's see, what else have I got here? Now I'm coughing like Hillary. My goodness sakes. Excuse me. Take a drink of water, Zeb. Oh, I thought you'd never ask. Stand by. All better. Want to also remind you about the POWMIA annual, 9th annual ceremony that's going to be over on the Rupert Square this Saturday, September 10th. Don't forget that. Music is going to start in the park at 10 o'clock in the morning and go till 1:30. Then the program will start at 2 o'clock and go till 3. There's going to be all kinds of great food and vendors up there, and this is sponsored by the City of Rupert, VFW, and Rupert Veterans Memorial, and don't miss it, please. We'd like to have a huge turnout this year. I'm hoping for 1,000 people. 1,000 people. I know we're going to have some ripping good speeches, and we're going to have, I think, a great opening that's going to get your blood pumping as a red, white, and blue American at the 9th annual POWMIA ceremony on the Rupert Square coming up this next Saturday. And let's see, we also want to mention what's going on over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. My goodness sakes, they've got a tremendous sale going on. Oh my goodness, no money down, no interest until 2017 on approved credit. They've got doorbuster savings on bunk beds and sofas and chest of drawers and, oh my goodness, beds and desks. What are you waiting for? Get in there today. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, 459 Overland in Burley. Oh, a great sale going on right now. In just a few moments, we're going to have our next guest on the program, Curtis Ellis, and man, I look forward to having him on the show. He's a straight shooter and tells everything like it is, and he's coming up just momentarily. While I have just a moment, I also want to remind you about our friends at Let's Ride. Oh, my goodness, we took a little bike ride this weekend on the four-wheelers. Yep, we headed up into the hills. Wow, it was beautiful up there. The trees are just starting to change a little bit, and the air was crisp. Oh, man, you better get up there and enjoy it. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. And they're having closeout prices on their 2016 four-wheelers and side-by-sides, and the new 2017 models are coming in. What are you waiting for? Get over there today. They're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. Let's Ride, where the fun is sold. Boy, those are good folks over there. They're the ones that got Deanne and I hooked on it, and we love it, I'll tell you. What in the world was that? I got somebody calling, and it made a buzz tone on my microphone. Huh, interesting. That's curious. Don't forget, too, your friends, my friends, everybody's friends, serving you at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. Oh, my. They really take care of you. Don't put it on the back burner. That's the worst thing you can do is put the very important items on the back burner and say, well, I'll take care of it next week. No. You better call them today for an appointment. 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. You call and make an appointment today. Really good folks. Let's not keep him waiting. Let's get him on the air. Doggone, I'm interested in hearing some of his comments this morning. Good morning, Curtis Ellis. How are you?
Great, Zeb. Good morning. Great to be here with you.
Man, I don't know. Now, where are you at while I'm talking to you this morning? What part of the United States?
I'm in Trump Tower. I'm at the campaign headquarters.
Oh, my goodness. You're one of the social elites, so I will look to you in reverence.
I'm overlooking Fifth Avenue right now here at Trump Tower.
Oh, my. You know, I've been in Trump Tower and around it. It's a magnificent building, but what are you doing there? I mean, why are you there this morning?
Well, I'm a policy advisor for Mr. Trump, and I'm helping him make America great again. We got to win. We got to win. We're going to win in November, and we're going to turn this country around and reinstill some pride in this country and believe in America again, and right from the top on down, from the leadership on down. It's going to be wonderful.
Boy, Curtis, you said it. We've got to win. We've got to reinstill pride in America. Those are not just easily said words, because it's the truth. Little by little, day by day, with this Obama administration, I see nothing but disdain for America. And he made a couple of speeches this weekend overseas in the Asian countries that led me to think that he was trying to apologize for us again, this nation and all we've done. I absolutely do not want to see Hillary in the White House unless she pays for a ticket for a guided tour.
Yeah, no, they give away tours to the White House, but Hillary's going to have to pay because she's been making so many people pay just to be able to talk to her as Secretary of State or renting out the Lincoln bedroom. You know what? She talks about that 3 a.m. phone call. Well, what we don't want to happen is that when that 3 a.m. phone call comes in, we don't want the answer to be press 1 to make a donation to the Clinton Foundation.
Right. You know, when you talk about this, I want to have you talk about some of the things you've mentioned in some of your blogs. One of them being the black vote in America today. Now, I know that he spent some time over the weekend, he being Trump, talking to and trying to sway a lot of the black leaders' opinions. What are your thoughts about getting the black vote behind Donald Trump?
I think it's a great move. I think it's a great opportunity. Mr. Trump is talking about the things that matter to black Americans, because guess what? The things that matter to black Americans are the same things that matter to all Americans. Jobs, jobs, jobs. When Donald Trump talks about immigration uncontrolled immigration, lowering the wages of working Americans, guess who suffers? Not the investment bankers, it's the people at the lower end of the economic ladder. And in many cases, that's black Americans. When he talks about the system being rigged by the powerful and the insiders to benefit themselves while hurting the rest of America, black Americans understand that. I mean, even, at the most extreme example, what are these Black Lives Matter talking about? These people, they're talking about how the system's rigged against us. So, and when Donald Trump talks about stopping the hemorrhaging of our jobs moving overseas to China and Mexico, the way Bill Clinton sent them over there, and bringing those jobs back, what kind of jobs are we talking about? We're talking about jobs that, in many cases, it was black Americans, it was African Americans that held those jobs, working in the factories, working in the assembly plants. These are jobs, I was looking at some numbers. 75% of the working African Americans, working black people, 75% of them don't have a college degree. So they're not working in law offices, right? They're working in the very kind of jobs and professions and industries and careers that have been outsourced. So, and when he talks about restoring law and order, the leading cause of death among young black men is homicide. So we are talking here at the Trump campaign about the very things that matter most to the African Americans, to the Hispanic Americans, to the Asian Americans, to the white Americans, to the pink Americans. It's one America. We've got the same problems, and there's a large segment of the black community that is just tired of being pandered to by the Democratic Party, trying to divide us up into separate little groups that you then talk about some little thing that's supposed to make you happy, while you can't feed your family anymore, you can't buy a house, you can't live the way the American dream says you can live.
Curtis, let me ask you this question. And you are around all the different personalities involved in this election every day. Do the black voters, do the black leaders understand, and do they comprehend exactly how devastating Hillary Clinton and her enhanced immigration program, be it refugees or be it south on the border, how devastating that is going to be towards any job enhancement in the future? I would think that every black leader, every black minister in their churches, etc., would be standing up and clamoring for Trump on his immigration program because of what's going on with Hillary wanting to bring in literally hundreds of thousands of refugees and let the borders be porous. I mean, my goodness, why are they standing up for Hillary?
Really. A lot of the black leaders get it. They understand what Donald Trump is talking about. They agree. There's this poll that Americans for Limited Government did a little while ago, and here we go. Here's a statement. Our immigration policies are being written by the same folks that want cheap labor anywhere they find it. They send our factories overseas. At the same time, they bring in lower-paid immigrant labor. 2/3 of the black people who were surveyed agreed with that. 2/3 get it. Foreign workers are being used to replace Americans in jobs for lower wages. 55% of the African Americans agree with that. So they get it. And you know what? You talked about the church leaders. This is the key. The black church, or let's put it this way, the church is central in the black community. It is very important. And they believe in a message of self-reliance. They believe what we believe. They believe in the Christian values. And that tells you that the Bible tells you that man will earn his bread by the sweat of his brow. It doesn't say man will earn his bread because the government's going to give you food stamps, right? They understand that a job is more than a way to pay the rent. A job builds character as well. A job gives you fulfillment. And so the Jobs message is one that is so important, but it's about character. And you look at Donald Trump's children. Here's a bunch of kids that didn't have to work by a purely economic measure. They had enough. They could be dancing on tables like Paris Hilton. But they work because they understand that work is what makes us free. Work is what makes us fulfilled. And work is what makes us decent human beings and happy. Work makes us happy. It's not the things we buy with the money we get from working that makes us happy. It's the work itself that makes us happy. And that's something that the black leaders understand. The black church leaders understand that. Maybe some of these other guys don't quite get it because, Al Sharpton is making his living by feeding people, some other crazy talk. But there are a lot of people in the black community, and when you talk about black businessmen, these are, and I mean the small businesses, the ones that own the stores in the inner city, elsewhere, they will benefit from the tax cuts that Donald Trump is talking about, and they respect Mr. Trump because he's a businessman.
I sit here and I listen to what you were saying, and I picked up on one name that you used, and that was race baiter Al Sharpton, along with Jesse Jackson and others. Why? Why does the black community, in your opinion, and I value your opinion, why does the black community give so much credence to Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and the Gimme Gimme Society? Why can't they realize that to take pride in themselves, they have to create their own responsibility for their own lives? I just don't understand why they follow people like Al Sharpton.
Well, I think there's a couple of ways to look at it, Zeb. Number one, I don't know how big a following he has outside of New York, maybe Los Angeles and Chicago, right? I mean, I don't think that most people wake up in the morning and say, I wonder what Al Sharpton says I should do today, But there's another thing going on, and in all fairness, look, we're talking about people who've been, kind of gotten the short end of the stick, and they're not going to throw one of their own under the bus, It's sort of like just solidarity. Look, I can have an argument with my wife, or I can not be pleased with, my kid's report card, but if somebody starts criticizing my kid, I'll be the first one to stick up for him,
Yep.
But, the gimme stuff, I think there's, the message of what he's saying, I think there's a whole lot of more people that are not subscribing to that. And they're not going to openly go out there and criticize Al Sharpton, but they're not they're not living by that message, They want a job. They want to provide for their kids. They know that the government giving them welfare or food stamps, that's not the way they live. And that's not, and they know that's not the solution to the problem. So, you got a few ththings going on. Some of it's emotional, some of it's intellectual. And you know what? I was talking to somebody the other day, and she was telling me, she's this, an African-American woman, and she was saying, she was talking to her friends. She said, I was talking to my friends, and they were saying, Trump, oh my gosh. And she said, face it, he's saying what we say to each other when nobody's listening.
That's true.
We all know that these immigrants coming in are being used against us. This is stuff we talk about all the time. He's saying stuff that we say to each other.
Curtis, it's not, I don't want to turn this into a color barrier conversation, because it's even whites that are getting out of school, the millennials, that I think are extremely misguided due to a liberal left philosophy that's taught to them in the universities and colleges. Oh, the leave it in the ground crew. Let's go back to burning buffalo dung in a cave. That'll be our energy program. We've got a lot of problems with the youth, regardless of their color in this country, because I think of miseducation. How would you respond to that?
Yeah, we have a big big task ahead of us. I think the education system has been has done a disfavor to this new generation. I don't even know if they're teaching. They're so busy teaching these kids political correctness. I don't know if they're teaching them the 3 R's. When I worked over at CNN, we had a hard time finding people, college interns, that could write. I mean, seriously. And you don't have to write a lot for television. You know, it's not like you're writing a 20,000-word book or something. So, but they know that they're not happy living in their parents' basement. They know they're not happy with the lack of job opportunities ahead of them. And you know what? There's another thing going on. They can smell, I think on an instinctual level, they can smell phoniness. And Donald Trump is not phony. He's authentic. He's saying what he means. He's saying what he means. He means what he says. And you can just tell that the guy's real. And he has accomplishments under his belt. Not just selling out the Lincoln bedroom, but you go look at his buildings, look at his skyscrapers and clubs and things all over the place. And they respect that. And when they get in the privacy of the polling booth, where they don't have to tell anybody that they've done something politically incorrect, you're going to see a lot of them voting for Mr. Trump, I do believe.
You know, let me wrap this up this morning with this final thought and then have you respond, Curtis. I just saw the new polls early this morning that show in many polls that Trump is now ahead of Hillary. But the thing that amazed me the most is the independent voting sect. Quite frankly, that's going to, I think, make up the pluses and minuses in this voting for November. Trump has a 20% lead with independents over Hillary. I'd like you to talk about that quickly.
That's right, 20% lead among independents. And the other number to look at here is people who haven't made up their mind. When you've got undecideds at this point in the race, they tend to break for the challenger, because right now Hillary Clinton is the incumbent. She's running for a third term of Obama. She's, if you like things the way they are, vote for me candidate. And Trump is, if you're not happy with the way things are, I'm going to change them. And anybody who's undecided, they know they're not happy with the way things are, otherwise they would have made up their mind already. So it's a matter of fact that they tend to break for the undecided. That's going to make the difference. One thing I'd like to say is everybody has to vote. People say, well, you know, Idaho's going to go for Trump anyway, I don't need to vote. No. We need to rack up big numbers across the country, because it's very possible that the Democrats are going to try to steal this in some battleground state in Ohio or something, and it's going to come down to something that they say, well, you know, we've got the electoral vote. No, we've got to show a huge, big, popular vote lead, millions and millions and millions of Americans. So that's our insurance policy. That's the way nobody can steal this election by hook or by crook. And also, I believe we're going to win big. We want to show that there are just tens of millions of Americans who believe in America and believe in our principles, and we need everybody in every state to get out and drop their ballot for Mr. Trump.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, this gentleman's welcome on my program anytime. Trump Policy Advisor and Executive Director for the American Jobs Alliance, Curtis Ellis. Curtis, God bless you, man. Come back soon.
God bless you, Zeb. Thank you so much. Okay.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. I really enjoy having that man on the program. He's a straight shooter and tells it like it is. Curtis Ellis, and we'll have him back in the not-too-distant future. Oh, my, we're running a little bit late here. We've got to get our weather forecast on real quick. And the weather is brought to you this hour by some people that I absolutely trust. They do a wonderful job. Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin and Company, CPAs. Curtis Pope, Todd Phillips, Rob Oakes, Mitch Goodwin, Heather Daly, Lyden Crane. Oh, my goodness. They've been serving the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years. And people that need them are maybe you and me, and maybe people starting a business, maybe a partnership, maybe business owners wanting to hire employees, people that just need more information on their taxes and what to do. Contact Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin and Company, and they have locations in Burley and Rupert. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your KBAR weather forecast for this shortened work week as we start the week off on a Tuesday, September 6th. Mostly sunny skies for today. Expect a high of 71 tonight, low of 45 for tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies, high of 71 with an overnight low of 46. Winds are going to be picking up just a little bit on Thursday. Still sunny, though. High of 70 with an overnight low of 42. Friday will definitely feel like fall. Sunny skies, high of 69, overnight low of 41. Then for Saturday, sunny skies, possible high of 80. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. And, of course, I want to remind you, for the best in CPAs, for whether it's your taxes, whether it's something to do with your business, I'll tell you what, you just call them and make an appointment. Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin and Company CPAs, serving you at 1710 Overland in Burley and 620 Fifth Street in Rupert. Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin and Company CPAs, serving you. Really good folks. All righty, I got time for a couple of calls. Give me a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got to tell you, and I mean this, that you know I'm a football fan. And this weekend, you could see football in its purest form, I think, collegiately. There were some excellent matchups, excellent first weekend big games. I mean, man alive, many of the top 10 teams, they slipped, they fell, they got beat. One game, of course, was my Wisconsin Badgers upset number 5 LSU. That was a good game. But the best game, honestly, from a viewer's standpoint, and I think Deanne would agree with me. Deanne says, well, I'm not a football fan. Yes, she is. I'm not a baseball fan. Yes, she is. I'm not a basketball fan. Yes, she is. She sits there and she watches it. She knows, understands it. The best game on television this weekend, we both agree, was Texas versus Notre Dame. That game was football at its best and sometimes its worst, but it was really exciting. It went into 2 overtimes before Texas finally won, and that was a good game. And you know something? I'm glad to see Texas finally have the season start off right. And they were, when I was growing up, it was Texas this, it was Texas that. They had the best players, they had the best team. Then they really went into a tailspin. And that was a good game. Texas over Notre Dame this last weekend. There were a lot of good games. And compliments to college football. It's back. Boise State had a good game against Louisiana at Lafayette. Won handily down in the heat and humidity. And now this next Saturday they take on, Washington State. That should be a really good game. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call, I want to tell you about Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, 336 South, 450 West of Paul. Number to call, 431-8733. There is still time now into the fall to prune those trees that needed trimming all summer long. So you better get that taken care of right now. And if you need a new lawn, seeded or sod, or installed, you better get a hold of Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. Oh, and by the way, now's a perfect time about putting in a new sprinkler system or revamping the old one. Now's a really good time. And you better do it soon, because pretty doggone quick, it's going to be time to blow out those sprinkler systems for the winter. You give them a call at 438-2485 or 431-8733. Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. Good folks. Really good folks. All right, it's your turn. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to remind you about something that's coming up, not this week, next week. On the 15th, we are going to be over at Ramsey Heating and Electric for a remote broadcast for the entire show on the 15th, honoring Hats Off to Farmers and our salute to the military. And like I said, we're going to be broadcasting 8 to 11 over at Ramsey's like we have for the last 14 years. However, there's something else I want to remind you of. At 7 o'clock, right out in front of the business, we are going to have a trailer set up, and it's going to be a wonderful biscuits and gravy breakfast served by the Rupert Veterans Memorial. It's going to be breakfast served from 7 to 10, and the proceeds of only $3 a person are going to the Christmas Helping Santa Fund. And we're really looking forward to having you there. So that's next week, Thursday the 15th, in honor of Hats Off to Farmers and saluting our military at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Don't you miss that. Going to be great. Going to be great. All right, got time for a couple of phone calls. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And I'd like to hear what you have to say. One story that was in the newspaper that shocked me and scared me this weekend in the Times News was an editorial that had appeared in Saturday's Washington Post. And it said with the headline, 10,000 is not enough. When I read that, it was all about bringing in literally hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees. And whoever wrote this article, and the name is not inclusive in the story, they just basically said the United States is not doing its job. The citizens of the United States are not being caretakers for the Syrian refugees, and kind of a darn you if you don't take care of them. And I just absolutely think this is another one of the liberal ploys to make all of us that don't want to see any more of these refugees in our area, don't want them here. We don't have a clarified, bona fide vetting service. This was just a slap in our face. And this author of this article said, America's own efforts are meager. Let's just mention that we're footing the bill. Let's just mention that this is a huge draw and drain on Social Security. Let's just mention this is a huge drain on the resources in various communities. Let's just mention that they get a lot of amenities that you and I are trying to pay for ourselves, but it's really tough sledding. Let's just mention that I am not a hate monger or a bigot, but I'm pro-red, white, and blue for the United States citizens of America first. I am not in favor of unlimited numbers of refugees coming in. Coming up next hour, of course, it's going to be Dr. History. He just walked through the door with his entourage and all of his radiant glory. Dr. History, Dr. Ken Turner is here. And then at 10:30, we're going to have Representative Fred Wood on the program, and we're going to be talking about Medicaid and other items that the legislature has been pondering over some answers for Medicaid during the summer, and we're going to have him on the program, so don't miss a minute of it. Zeb at the Ranch right now on KBAR, and then streaming live, zebbell.com. We'll be back in about 6 minutes. Don't go away. Here we go. Hour number 3. My goodness, how time flies when we're having fun. Hour number 3 already. Zeb at the Ranch, and I'm Zeb Bell, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and some of our great advertisers, like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call 734-6969. Want to remind you again, this Saturday, the big sale. I'm telling you what, don't miss this. If you're in the horse business, want to get in the horse business, want the best in horses, and I mean that with personality, conformation, color, athleticism, get the best at the Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch 28th Annual Production Sale this coming Saturday. Preview at 10 a.m., sale at 11 a.m., 1994 South, 100 east of Oakley, and this is where the Leo legacy continues. The best in horses at the Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch Sale coming up this next Saturday. I know these folks. I know their horses. You'd better get up there. Don't forget, too, Ramsey Heating and Electric is offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems, whether it's a gas furnace, air conditioner, a heat pump, whatever you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Call Ramsey's today at 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. Right now, it's time for Dr. History, brought to you by Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, right across from the airport. Number to call, 878-2091. Zach and the crew, we're going to tell you more about these great folks, but right now, let's just say good morning to the traveling troubadour.
Good morning, Zeb.
Hello, Dr. History.
How you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Great. It's a beautiful day out there.
In the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes. You've been traveling.
I have. We've been and seeing some amazing things and historical things, castles.
Hysterical or historical?
Well, when you travel with us, you better plan on a little hysterical.
Okay.
We had a good time anyway. Good to be home, though.
Oh, isn't that the truth? The minute you unlock that door when you come home and throw the suitcase on the floor, don't you just feel like, oh, boy.
Feels good. Feels good.
What are we going to talk about today?
Well, okay, I think about everybody at some time in their life has dreamed of digging up buried treasure.
Oh, I have.
I have. Yeah. You know, even I keep thinking I'll find some in my pasture down by the river, but that hasn't happened yet. But anyway, so I've got two stories. If we have time, we'll do the second one. If not, we'll just do the first one.
Okay.
So this one is called The Paymaster's Treasure. Now, there's two men that you need to keep in mind. One guy's name's Charles Simpson, and the other is a sheriff or a marshal. His name is Marshal Cantrell.
Okay.
Those are the two main characters in this story.
Okay.
So, anyway, old newspapers contain a lot of stories about buried treasure legends, and some of these relate to outlaws who supposedly buried the loot from some robbery before they fled lawmen and were captured and killed. Now, this legend is one of those. It began on a Saturday afternoon in June, sometime it was either 1862 or 63. They're not sure. A government paymaster named Frank Mitchell was going south from Lawrence, Kansas. You've probably been there.
I have.
Lawrence, Kansas.
I have.
He was in a small buggy pulled by one horse. He was moving south to hit the Santa Fe Trail, which crossed the southern portion of what is Douglas County. Now, his mission, it appears, was to deliver the military payroll to some post along the Santa Fe Trail.
Right.
Perhaps a place called Fort Larned. Have you heard of Fort Larned?
I have, yes.
Okay.
There's a town, Larned, Kansas, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Mitchell had only gone a short distance south of Lawrence when two men, one named Fowler, the other Lash, shot and killed him. They took the large oak chest containing the payroll off the buggy, but found that it was too heavy for one man to carry on horseback. And I'm trying to think, okay, you're on a horse, and you're going to try to carry this big, huge chest?
Not long.
Yeah. So, anyway, about then, one of the outlaws noticed a party of soldiers on horseback approaching from a distance.
Okay.
The soldiers actually may have been supposedly guarding Mitchell, but obviously they didn't do a very good job.
In Kansas, you can see quite a distance, too.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, the soldiers are coming, and they may have been delayed back in Lawrence, whatever the reason. Anyway, quickly, the two outlaws carried the chest off the road and buried it.
Yeah, they buried it.
They buried the treasure. They then jumped on the horses and rode off as fast as they could.
Which is understandable, yeah.
Well, when the soldiers arrived on the scene and discovered the paymaster's body, they also saw the men riding away in the distance. And as you said, it's pretty flat, so not much to hide, right?
Yeah, no, wait a minute. They buried this box in that short time span?
Yeah. So they must have been in a real hurry.
Did you ever question they had a shovel automatically given to them or something?
Now you're asking me stuff I have not a clue.
Oh, okay.
Maybe there was one in the wagon. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, well, they assumed the riders obviously were the murderers, and they gave chase. Soon the soldiers overtook the outlaws southwest of Lawrence. The two men apparently confessed because both...
Oh, they caught them.
Yeah, they caught them. And both were hanged from a nearby cottonwood tree before the day was over. So they robbed, buried, and were hung same day.
It saved the taxpayers a lot of money.
There was no trial. It was a done deal. The thing was kind of weird, though. The body supposedly hung from a tree for several days before a guy from one of the local towns came along and cut them down and then buried them in the North Lawrence Cemetery.
Holy smokes. Now, how did they know who they were?
Well, they confessed. and I guess gave their names.
I see.
So, anyway, the legend tells how the only witness to the murder and robbery was this guy that I mentioned. His name was Charles Simpson.
Yeah.
Okay, he's one of our main guys.
Yeah, main guy.
He was walking south from Lawrence to go fishing, probably on a river called the Wakarusa.
You got me on that one.
Anyway, at the time, he's supposed to be walking to go and saw the paymaster get killed. Well, the two outlaws apparently did not see Simpson hiding behind a clump of bushes along the side of the road where he'd stopped to rest. But Simpson saw where the two outlaws buried the payroll.
Well, for heaven's sakes, then why is it still not?
Well, we're going to get there, sort of.
Hurry.
Well, and actually, one reason it was heavy, it was consisted of gold coins.
Ooh.
So it was heavy. Well, Simpson appears to have told authorities that he saw the killing, but he was actually arrested and confined for 6 months in the Lawrence jail because he refused to divulge where the outlaws had hidden the gold.
Well, the poor old guy was just going fishing, and then his life really goes
now
south.
He's in jail.
Oh, my
gosh. Do you want to take a break here, Zeb?
Well, I think we should.
Okay.
All right. Let's remind everybody about Minnecasia Sales. Zach and the crew, my goodness sakes, they can replace and upgrade your windows with those Western windows. Oh, it's time to think about it. Dr. History could feel the chill this past weekend. Well, don't you feel the chill? Save on your heating bills with those Western windows from Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley. And if you're doing any remodeling before Thanksgiving and Christmas, right around the corner, you better get in there today and talk to them about all your needs. Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, right across from the airport. You stop in and see them today. And now, back to the buried treasure.
All right, so here we have Charlie Simpson, witnessed the murder.
He's the fisherman.
And I get the impression he's just a young man.
Yeah.
Okay, so they threw him in jail because he wouldn't say where the gold was buried.
Okay.
Now, after he was released from jail, Simpson waited until a dark night, went to the spot where the treasure was buried. Okay, he dug into the ground, located the oak chest, but he was frightened away by some travelers on the road before he could remove it. Well, Simpson filled in the hole, covering the chest, and then left Lawrence. Now, here's what's strange. He did not return until 1878. This is 16 years later.
Wow.
And it was then that he again tried to recover the gold, and late one night he returned to the spot, dug into the earth, located the chest, but again he was frightened by the sounds of someone traveling on the nearby road, and he again covered the gold and took off.
Now, right there, you've given me a clue. This was fairly doggone close to the road.
Yeah. Well, it had to be, because those outlaws wouldn't have had much time to go very far away.
And so now these thoroughfares in the Old West turned into highways and byways of today.
Yeah.
So in Kansas, they're running over with their four-wheelers and 18-wheelers a whole bunch of money.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, this legend is not well documented. Well, anyway, but a Denver, Colorado newspaper story published in 1882 is the sole source of the legend. Now, the story came to light when a guy named Sim W. Cantrell, this is the other guy we're going to talk about. He was Chief Deputy United States Marshal in Denver, and he was interviewed by a reporter for this newspaper, and the journalist questioned Cantrell about the outlaw money buried over there in the western United States. Now, the legend, according to Marshal Cantrell, came to light one night when a prisoner in the jail at Pueblo, Colorado, warned the jailer that another prisoner was trying to escape. Now, the jailer and Marshal Cantrell, who was in Pueblo on business, stopped the escape. Now, the prisoner who had warned of the escape soon became friends with Marshal Cantrell. Okay, are you with me?
Yeah, boy, I was getting tough.
Okay. Well, during one conversation, the prisoner asked the marshal if he'd like to enter into a money-making scheme.
Here we go.
So Cantrell, of course, said yes to keep the man talking. So he wanted to hear the story.
You want to sell soap?
Yeah. So, because this prisoner was actually going to be released pretty quick soon. And so he told Marshal Cantrell how another prisoner named Charles Simpson, the guy that had
The fisherman,
had disclosed, quote, the secret of a large plant of money near Lawrence, Kansas. Simpson had asked this prisoner to go to Lawrence, dig up the money, in order that Simpson could pay a good lawyer to defend him on a charge of forgery. So now he's in jail again.
Oh, boy. Okay. And all this because he wanted to go catfishing.
Yes. So anyway, Marshal Cantrell told the prisoner he would like to learn more, but that he had to go back to Denver, so the prisoner said he would write the marshal and let him know what's going on.
I see.
So back in Denver, Marshal Cantrell received a letter from the prisoner. It arrived within a week and detailed the story that we've already told, but attached to the letter was a map giving the exact location of the buried treasure near Lawrence, Kansas. And here's what it said. Now follow this really close, Ed, because we're going to go looking.
Okay.
On the left side going down to Lawrence from Denver, or on east side, you will find 2 sycamore trees. On west side, you will find 2 ice houses. The sycamore trees are large and not more than 20 feet apart. Halfway between the trees and the ice houses, you will find a large walnut stump, and 10 feet from the stump, which is 3 feet through, and due north, you will find the plant 3 feet in the ground. The ground is sandy, no trees around to amount to much. Plant is in an oaken box made out of 2x10 boards, bound with iron, and it has a brass padlock attached to it. You got that?
I do, but I'm really concerned about somebody cutting down the sycamore trees.
That's what trees grow, trees get cut down.
Yeah.
Anyway, when he got the letter and the map, Marshal Cantrell sent a letter to the commander at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas.
Yeah.
And he was asking whether there had been any funds stolen within the last few years. And many days later, Cantrell got a reply from the general, and the letter actually said from the paymaster's officers that they did not acknowledge any robbery of any paymaster south or even near Lawrence, Kansas. So the military had no record of this robbery or killing.
And the guy that was shot and the money that was stolen wasn't even recorded?
I guess not. But anyway, subsequent letters between Cantrell and the military authorities at Fort Leavenworth did not turn up anything helpful. In fact, the military thought Cantrell was looking into the robbery of a paymaster safe being carried by the Pacific Express Company between Fort Leavenworth and Atchison, Kansas. But that robbery occurred in 1880. So that wasn't anything to do with this first one.
Holy cow.
So anyway, Marshal Cantrell dropped the matter until he had to make a railroad trip east to Chicago. On his return journey, Cantrell stopped in Lawrence, Kansas. He told a reporter from the Denver Republic what happened, and here's what he said. He said, I visited the spot indicated by the map, because he had this map,
Yeah.
So sure enough, everything was there, as perfect as could be.
The trees, the stump.
The map was complete. Anybody could have taken it and found the spot in the dark. Now, that's what Marshal Cantrell said. So, but this was, like I say, many years ago. Now, the treasure was on the farm of a guy named Shull. And he says, I sought him out and explained matters to him, although I did not give him the exact locality. I came back to Denver, and matters rested at this point for some weeks. And now comes the sequel to the whole tale. Simpson, at this time, obtained an acquittal. The forgery could not be proven. Thinking that he would go to the where the treasure was after he obtained his liberty.
You're going too fast for me.
Okay, so Simpson is out now.
Yeah.
He got out of jail.
And he was the guy that was doing nothing but fishing.
Fishing and saw the buried treasure and the murder.
Yeah.
So Marshal Cantrell says again, he says, I wrote to Shull, the landowner, asking him to keep a lookout for any mysterious person on his place, and in that he might be able to get a portion of the money if Cantrell got it. But my letter was too late. This guy wrote back and he said, saying that a man had been there who wore a prisoner's clothes, and who said he had just come out of state prison, and that he also said his name was Simpson. So this was Charlie Simpson. The letter stated he was a fine-looking man with dark hair and eyes, about 6 feet high, and would weigh about 170 pounds, and would suppose his age to be about 28 years old. This answered the description of Simpson exactly, and I at once concluded that he had unearthed the treasure.
Really?
Yeah.
He had gone back and got it.
Yeah.
How much was it?
It never says. Now, but there's a kick to this. Let me go a little further. Okay. Marshal Cantrell then related how he sent this guy named Shull of Lawrence the map of the plan and told him to dig down and find if the money was still there, thinking it might still be there. I mean, Simpson had reburied it twice before. So, anyway, upon going to the spot described in Cantrell's letter, this Mr. Shull found fresh evidence of digging where Simpson had delved in the earth was plainly visible, said Cantrell, adding that upon closer examination, wagon tracks were found, evidently those of the vehicle in which the gold had been carried away. Okay, so we can assume the treasure was gone, and so was Charlie Simpson.
Yeah, he ain't fishing.
He's done fishing. So if he dug up the treasure at the age of 28 in 1882, he surely could not have been the man who, according to the legend, observed the robbers planting the payroll and served a 6-month jail term because he would have been only about 8 years old in 1862.
Yeah, but he could have been like Opie on Andy of Mayberry carrying the fishing pole.
But they put him in jail.
Oh.
8 years old?
I forgot about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just who Charlie Simpson is unknown. Where he went from Lawrence is a mystery. And why did he wait 19 years to dig up the treasure is another question. If any Army paymaster had been murdered close to Lawrence and his murderers hanged by soldiers, certainly the newspapers would have reported it. But a check of Lawrence newspapers in 1862, 1863 failed to turn up anything relating to this legend.
Why do you do this? You kind of spin a web.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you come right back, and I'm more confused now than I was when you started.
Well, these records were actually destroyed in 1863 by Quantrell and his men.
Oh,
the Raiders, Quantrell's Raiders, in 1863.
Yeah.
So the legend of the paymaster's buried treasure is just that, a legend. Efforts to corroborate the tale have failed, yet it is substantiated by Denver newspaper's reporter in 1882.
Last week we had John LeMay from New Mexico on in your stead while you were gone playing. And history, boy, how speculative is it? I mean, it's a lot of hearsay, or they said, or she said.
It is, and, again, we're reading something that, we've got some exact words from some letters, and this Marshall Cantrell, and talking about the map. So we've got some definite information here, but there's still a lot we don't know. An 8-year-old boy, a 9-year-old boy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
So
it's still there something. Maybe.
Yeah. So
holy mackerel! Are you ready to go get one of those? What are those devices called where you go tick 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 like that?
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, one of those.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You've had other stories on this program of buried treasure and where it might be or maybe not, etc. Like right here,
right? Cassia County,
right here.
Yeah, buried treasure.
What was the story about the gunfighters or the bank robbers up in
Pocatello,
City of Rocks, wasn't it?
Yeah, they one got killed, the other one made it into the City of Rocks.
Yeah,
buried the treasure.
Now, is this a legit story?
Yeah, it is. And he wandered into a camp, told the guy in the camp where he had buried the treasure.
Why did he do that?
Because he was dying. He'd been shot. And he died. He did. But before he died, he told this guy, and he said it's, how did he put it? He said it's north of and in sight of the Twin Sisters in the City of Rocks. Well, that's a big area.
Oh, yeah.
And supposedly nobody's ever found it. There was some saddlebags found in, I think it was 1973 or 4, from a different bank robbery.
Really?
That had been discovered, yeah.
Really? Was there anything in them?
Yeah, the money was still in them.
Really?
And I don't know much about that. I've just heard bits and pieces.
And you got to look at it logistically. They couldn't go too high or hide it too high because of the rocks and everything else, and it had to be someplace where they could ride to.
Yeah. Now, another thing, keep in mind that, some of those, if somebody found that buried treasure, they may just not say anything, because if it's Wells Fargo, they're going to come after you and say, hey, that's our money, and you may end up with nothing.
Yeah.
So I really believe there's things that have been buried and found, or that have been dug up, found, and just kept very quiet.
Yeah. When you go fishing, keep your mouth shut.
If you see somebody killed, I don't know. You might want to go ahead and tell them where it's buried.
So up there, and I was talking to my dear friend George Montgomery one time, and he was telling me approximately where they buried that, or those outlaws left the money. And it's probably still there. You would think, though, was it in a strong box, or was it in saddlebags, or whatever?
It doesn't say. I'm assuming it had to be saddlebags, because he rode all the way from Pocatello. That's, 70 miles.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it had to be saddlebags, and I don't know how much.
Wow.
but it was evidently quite a bit. But, you've been up there to the City of Rocks, and you look from the Twin Sisters all the way around, there's thousands of acres.
Oh,
and so when you say inside of the Twin Sisters, that could be 10 miles away.
Yeah. So, holy smokes. Are you ready? We'll go get one of those tick-tick-ticks, and we'll go up and find it.
Yeah, whatever those things are called.
Yeah, whatever they're called. We'll go rent one of those, whatever they're called, tick-tick-tick-tick-tick-tick. Yeah. Well, that was a good story.
Yeah, it's always fun to...
Now, what about next week? What are you going to talk about? You're not going to be here.
Right. That's... yeah.
We want to wish the very best to your wife.
Well, thank you.
God's blessings.
Everything's going to go good.
I'm sure. Absolutely. Angie, if you're listening, it's okay. I promise. Okay.
That will give her a lot of assurance.
I'm sure. That was snide. Thanks, Doc.
You bet. You have a good day, Zeb.
Dr. History brought to you by Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley. Don't forget, for all your windows and your lumber and your Tartar Farm and Ranch gates and panels, it's all there at Minnecasia Sales. Real quick, before I have to send it back over to our main studios, I want to remind you on Thursdays we have another segment called Cassia County School Days. It's brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and Ambulatory Surgery Center. Don't forget, at A Child's World, they've got all the children's clothing, all the furniture, they've got everything. Stop in, all the books, they've got it all for you at A Child's World. Don't forget, 1308 Overland in Burley. And, of course, for your colonoscopies, knee pain, along with maybe glaucoma surgery, it's all there. Outpatient surgery and saving you money at the Ambulatory Surgery Center, 1344 Highland in Burley. Both of those businesses bringing you school days in Cassia County on Thursdays. By the way, real quick, we have a brand new sponsor that started last week, and we want to urge everybody to get in there. They open at 10:30, just a couple of minutes, as a matter of fact. La Vintage Boutique. Yes, sirree, 1240 Oakley Avenue in Burley. And the new owner, Elizabeth Quayle. Nice lady. Be sure and stop in and check out all the dresses and the jewelry, all the women's and children's clothing. And, of course, don't forget, too, oh my goodness sakes, they've got wall hangings, and they've got an invitation for you to come in and browse and take your time and enjoy. And remember, Christmas shopping is right around the corner. Great place. La Vintage Boutique, 1240 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Well, we're going to send it back over to our main studios. I'm going to say goodbye to Dr. History, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Don't you go away.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much, and welcome back. And our thanks again to Dr. History. He does a great job. Thank you very much. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's a gas furnace, air conditioner, or a heat pump, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Call Ramsey's at 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. There you go. By the way, there's a big sale going on. Oh, you do not want to miss this. Holy cow, great big sale at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. America's best sale. No money down, no interest until 2017 on approved credit. Oh my, they've got bunk beds at ridiculously low prices. They've got sofas at low prices. They've got desks, and they've got queen bed frames at low prices. You better stop in today. Check out this wonderful sale at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, 459 Overland in Burley. Really good, folks. Right now, with the terminology really good folks, that leads me right up to our next guest. I always have had a lot of respect for this man, and he is one of our state representatives. And I'd like to say good morning to Representative Fred Wood. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you this morning?
I am fantastic. And I guess my question would be, I understand that you have been spending your summer in meetings most of the time, have you not?
There's been more meetings this summer than than I've had in the last 10 years, that's for sure.
Well, let's talk about it and get right to the crux of the matter. Now, talk to me a little bit about a group of Idaho lawmakers that have got together and they're trying to figure out the ins and the outs and the pitfalls of increasing Medicaid. Give me your thoughts on this.
Well, it's a long, complicated subject, and the legislature's been wrestling with it for 4 years, so I'll try and take it up in a couple of 3 minutes. As you know, the Affordable Care Act initially mandated that the states increase Medicaid and expand it to everybody other than non-citizens. The Supreme Court overturned that and said that the federal government could not mandate that it had to be optional for the states to do that. To date, 31 states in the District of Columbia have expanded Medicaid. 19 states have not expanded Medicaid, Idaho being one of those 19 states that has not expanded Medicaid. We have been working for the last 4 years, since the Affordable Care Act took effect, 5 years now, to try to figure out a way that we could do that without breaking the bank and breaking Idaho's budget, which we're very proud of the fact that we've always balanced our budget, and we always intend to do so. We've not been able to find the solution or the pathway forward yet, Zeb, to allow us to do that.
Okay, now...
And actually, as it turns out, it's not the state money that is the holdup. We're actually spending enough state money now that we don't need to spend an additional cent in terms of state taxpayers' dollars to expand Medicaid. Now, we need to markedly increase federal expenditures to do that. And there's a lot of the legislature that at this point in time is not willing to go along with that. In addition to which, we're still operating in Idaho under the old unsustainable healthcare system that is increasing costs at roughly 8% or 9% or 10% a year, and that, if it's not resolved fairly shortly, is going to break America, just to be plain and simple. So the path forward from my perspective, Zeb, is that we have to, and the path forward is the following. In speaking with Director Armstrong has a plan to switch all of Medicaid in the next 2 years over to a managed care program. Medicaid currently is actually doing far better than the regular health care system in that the cost in state dollars for Medicare or Medicaid is going up only at about 4% a year. It needs to get down even lower than that to about 2.5%, or at the most 3%. But we think we can do that. But that program will not be in effect yet for another 2 years, and the legislature is going to want to see that it actually works before we actually go down that road. And then I think that once we review that, then we can make a reasonable decision about when to bring on the rest of the so-called gap population to do that.
Okay. Now, Fred, I'm going to make a statement. Now, I'm going to make a statement regarding Medicaid here in the state of Idaho, and I want you to listen to me and tell me if I'm wrong in what I say, because I want to be corrected and I want to be educated on this matter. Of the 78,000 Idahoans supposedly without any health coverage right now, the 78,000, and the Democrats want an expansion of 78,000 people on Medicaid, regardless of whether they're able-bodied or whether they have a job or not, or whether they're contributing to society. I personally think there needs to be a review of a case-by-case basis of these 78,000 to see if they are bona fide people that can be in the system, and the others that aren't and are able-bodied, doggone it, get to work and pay for your own health insurance like I am.
That is one of the major reasons that the 19 states that haven't expanded Medicaid have not expanded it. the federal government and the federal laws associated with the expansion program of Medicaid will not allow you to take into account any job or work history or anything else. It makes no difference to them, not me, not Fred Wood. Makes no difference at all whether you have a job, whether you don't have a job, whether you can pay, whether you can't pay, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The fact is that if you're going to expand it, you have to expand it to everybody. And it's laws like that, Zeb, that have caused the Idaho legislature to say, no, well, wait a minute. It doesn't make sense that you won't allow us to take into account certain things like that. And but you know better than I do how the federal government operates and the inflexibility that they have. So that's one of the major hang-ups. The legislature has agreed with you.
You know, and I look at this thing, this issue, Fred, as just more dependency on government. More gimme, I'm not going to work for it, you're going to provide for me. And it's time that we just pull the plug on this, Fred. I don't know what the answer is, but we can't keep increasing the numbers of people dependent upon for federal handouts.
The majority of the legislature agrees with you. So that's why Idaho has not expanded Medicaid. As an aside, Zeb, there's been 2 or 3 times here where for 2 or 3 seconds you've cut out. Now, I don't know whether that's you or I, but if that lasts for 5 or 10 seconds, I'll call in on another phone.
Okay.
I'm on a landline, so it should be okay.
All right. You know, what is the answer, though? I mean, after all summer studying this and working on this, and I know taking a lot of heat from the left, are there any answers that are in sight before the legislative session coming up in January?
I don't think there's any, there would be no, even if there will be a new administration. Depending upon who the new administration is, it's going to take an act of Congress and the cooperation of the president to allow states like Idaho and others who are unwilling to go down the road of just a blanket whatever, to allow us to take the money with essentially no strings attached and build our own system that says we are going to take into account things like that. That's not going to happen within the next year. I don't know how long it will take Congress to get its act together when the new administration comes in, and I imagine that's going to strictly depend upon who the new administration is, but Congress doesn't act that fast. So I suspect we're looking at least, Zeb, of 2 or 3 more years before we can actually come to an agreement with the federal government about what really matters and what really counts and how we really can build a sustainable system here in Idaho.
I agree with you.
We can do it.
I agree.
We've shown that we can do things like that. They just, so far, will not let us do it.
Well, the Democratic left is so quick to criticize. There was a letter in the paper this morning, letters to the editor, and one of the statements that was made about the Republican Party is that they're the party of no, meaning no money for those who need health insurance. You know, everybody needs certain things and wants certain things, Fred, but the bottom line is who's going to pay for it, and why should some get it with no effort whatsoever or any responsibility? That's the question I want answered.
And I can't argue with that, Zeb. I think there's a couple of things to understand, too, and the legislature does understand this. There are federally qualified health centers. There are other rural health centers that receive federal dollars, etc. The primary care component of health care is available, and it's available for free for those that will seek it out in the state of Idaho. So the entire GAP population, they've got to do a little bit of work in terms of tracking down where their nearest office is, calling up, getting an appointment, becoming a patient, et cetera, et cetera. There is a sliding fee scale for some of those that do make some money, et cetera. And they do get some drug coverage. They do get some X-ray coverage, et cetera. And they do get mental health coverage, and they do get behavioral health coverage to a certain extent. At least all of those procedures that are covered in a routine physician's office. We have an office here in Burley. There's one in Rupert. There's a couple of 3 in Twin, et cetera. So that is available, but they have to seek it out, and they have to go find. It's not hard to find. It's right. The office is right down there by the hospital. It's on the hospital grounds, as a matter of fact. So it's not that they're completely without health care, which the legislature is very cognizant of. Now, what is a real issue is when they need specialty care. If they have a family member that gets cancer, if they have a family member in a bad car wreck, if they have a family member that gets a significant injury, requires heart surgery or something, no, there isn't any coverage for that. And, of course, that is a major problem. But all of the things that you and I have been discussing hold true. And so far, we've not found a path forward.
Okay. Fred, in the time remaining, I had a gentleman, a doctor from Boise on my program about a week and a half ago in regards to a heart test for infants that he said would only cost approximately $6.50 per patient to ensure and help the parents understand that their child is in good heart health when they leave the hospital. What did you find out about that test? I asked you to provide some more information regarding that.
I'll be happy to. Research is still going on, but I think I found out enough to comment about it. And the biggest lesson to take away between you and I and your listeners is this kind of proposal is exactly what's wrong with Congress. What the test is pulse oximetry. And that's the ability to externally measure, by just putting a little clasp over your finger, the amount of oxygen in your blood. And we know that when infants are born, there's a few defects of the heart that will kind of linger around for a week or two before the infant really gets really ill. And sometimes within that period of time can die. His theory is that if a pulse oximetry test is performed, which, pulse oximetry is available in a lot of physicians' offices, it's available in all clinics, it's available in all hospitals, etc. Now, the issue is how reliable is that test? My research tells me that within the first 24 hours of life, that is unreliable to detect anything, okay? Just because you get an abnormal value doesn't mean that it's going to mean anything. You have to wait at least 24 for the babies to be 24 hours old before it's meaningful. And at 24 hours, it still may not be meaningful. An awful lot of people who deliver in the hospital now go home in 12 hours or less. A lot of them go home at about 12 hours to 16 hours. Now, if the Idaho legislature came along and passed a law and said that every baby had to have pulse oximetry at 24 hours, then is the legislature going to require all mothers to stay in the hospital for 24 hours?
Mm-hmm.
That's an incredible expense.
Yeah.
Let's presume for a moment that you lived in Mackay, Idaho, and you delivered your baby in Idaho Falls. Even if you left the hospital at 12 hours and had to come back at 24 hours to the emergency department to have a test that still may not be reliable at 24 hours, then you're going to force the family to stay in Idaho Falls? Now, yes, it sounds like a great test, and the do-gooders of the world would immediately come along and say, by God, we got to have the legislature pass this test because this will help 2 or 3 babies or 10 babies in Idaho this year. But at what expense? And why is it the legislature's job to do that? Because actually, Zeb, that standard of care in the medical profession always has been left. Its discretion is to regulate the standard of care of what doctors should be doing. I can't find anywhere where the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends this unless there's symptoms. Now, what every hospital does, including ours here, and I called and checked, is that if there's any sign whatsoever that an infant course is not normal, they immediately do all kinds of things, including pulse oximetry.
Right.
Secondly, there's, at a fairly cheap rate, pulse oximetry that parents can buy. And you can put the app on your smartphone, and you can go back to Mackay, Idaho, or Buggy Whip, Idaho, or wherever you want. And you can then fly to New York, and you can monitor your baby in New York, in Mackay, Idaho, or anywhere else. So I think this is what's wrong in some part with what's going on in America today is that we're looking for government to solve these kinds of issues, and these kinds of issues need to be solved, but not by government.
I couldn't agree more. You know, this...
I'm doing more research. The next time you have me on, if you'll make a mental note, and I will, that I'll give another 3 or 4 minute follow-up to make sure that the initial research is okay, and I'm checking with NICUs and stuff in Boise and whatnot to get a better handle on this, because we've just had a few days over a holiday weekend to check on this.
Right. I want to say how much I appreciate you bringing out the other side of the story, and that's what I try to do on this program, is make sure that we get all the points of interest out to the public. And what it sounds like to me, that it boils down to parental personal responsibility for their child, and not the government being the do-all and catch-all. That's basically the bottom line, isn't it?
It is. You know, this is a legitimate problem, so I don't want to downplay a legitimate problem that occurs once every I don't know how many thousand babies, but it occurs, you know, often enough. And I've taken care of patients, and I suspect there's probably a couple, 3 patients I've taken care of whose parents are out there listening right now. But again, we have to solve it in the manner in which it needs to be solved, and that typically is not through the Idaho legislature.
Representative Fred Woods, a dear friend of this program, and if anybody can explain anything, it's this man right here. Fred, God bless you, and please call back soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zeb, and I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you, sir. Representative Fred Wood and our entourage of political people here in this area, whether it's Representative Fred Wood, Senator Kelly Anthem, Speaker of the House Scott Becky, what a great bunch of people we have. And I'm really pleased that they take the time to come on this program. Thank you very, very much. Wow, I've got a weather forecast I've got to get on right now, sponsored by Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, and the number to remember, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Your hometown meat cutter, locally owned custom meat processor for over 20 years. Don Scarrow and the crew at Scarro's Meats. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your KBAR weather forecast for this shortened work week as we start the week off on a Tuesday, September 6th. Mostly sunny skies for today. Expect a high of 71 tonight, low of 45 for tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies, high of 71 with an overnight low of 46. Winds are going to be picking up just a little bit on Thursday. Still sunny, though. High of 70 with an overnight low of 42. Friday will definitely feel like fall. Sunny skies, high of 69, overnight low of 41. Then for Saturday, sunny skies, possible high of 80. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Range.
Gina, thank you. Brought to you by Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Oh, yeah, they're changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Thank you very much, Don Scarrow and the crew at Scarro's Meats. Oh, my. What do we got on tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. Boy, I tell you what, I don't know about the rest of you folks, but I am all discombobulated thinking today is Monday, yesterday was Sunday, tomorrow's Tuesday, and never mind. Anyway, tomorrow is Wednesday. And we're going to have Dave B. go on from Indianapolis, Indiana. Joe Messina is going to be on our program. And then we have another attorney with the Pacific Legal Foundation talking about how some of our rights are going to be stripped away by the government and are being stripped away by the government. And that'll be interesting. We got a whole plate load of great people on tomorrow morning's program. Don't you miss it. I guarantee you. We are going to try... I know my lovely wife Deanne has, I think, called back there and tried to arrange a interview with the town manager of Owego, New York. And if you didn't follow that story, I'll give you a quick synopsis. They put a plaque up honoring the New York citizens that were killed on 9/11, and they said that these deaths were caused by Islamic terrorists. And Islam and other Muslims have been outraged and demanded that Islamic terrorists be stricken from the plaque. And we're going to have an update on that because the city manager said no. The verbiage is going to stay what it is. So we're going to try to get him on the phone tomorrow morning and talk about that. Don't forget, great big fall tire sale going on right now at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Holy moly, I'm talking all kinds of tires on sale, like the Open Country MT for your pickups and SUVs. Oh, baby, outstanding traction, aggressive tread. This will get you through all the muck. I'll guarantee it. And the muck is coming in the next couple of months, let me tell you that. Hey, they've got the best tire value promise in the industry at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, and the best in brake service, too, along with front-end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries. Oh, there's nothing worse than going out on these chillier-to-come mornings, turning the key, and nothing happens. Well, make sure your battery's a good battery, and if not, they've got all the batteries you need. Stop in today and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Had a good program. Thank you. Boy, it's hard to get back in the saddle after having a couple of days off, and we're going to roll again tomorrow morning at 8:06 right here, Zeb at the Ranch. And your calls and comments are always welcome. Don't forget that. And K-Bar 12:30 a.m. is the place to be, and then also streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com. And remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. See you tomorrow morning. God bless.